Hi everybody, Flash Rasman back again in Ambition and Minuet in Power. Now, can I remember where we were? No, I cannot. That is... oh, that's we've invited... okay. Oh, that's Elizabeth. Okay, right, so we've got a few spare days. We've got 3 exhaustion. What do we like for money? Journal. Let's have a look at a journal. Gossip. Let's see if we can get rid of some of this gossip. Let's go and see our friend Pierre, shall we? Let's explore Paris. Oh god, we've got lots of questions, haven't we? We've got all this stuff to do. Balance of power. Okay, return to map. We've got Hessing Dorman. Armand's purpose. We've got assisting Armand. Oh, that's the Anton, isn't it? Direct action. I'm not sure now. Let's stick with the plan. Let's go to Pierre. Let's get rid of some of my gossip. You went to Pierre's office to find it more disorderly than usual. Yes, same story. Revolution. Yes, we want fresh gossip on the revolution for the next 11 days. Yeah, you know, it doesn't seem to punish us if we don't do it. Sell the cheap gossip. No chance. This is cheap gossip. 1 in 20. Outrageous. Let's sell this one. This is 1 in 10. Okay. This is a 1 in 4. Okay. Okay, that'll do. That'll do us. Credibility's gone up. Oh, happy day, she said. Yes, perfect. Right, I'm thinking to myself now, let's have a look at the wardrobe. Oh, we're fine, we managed to be fine on that. Right. Right, today we are going to go and explore Paris. And Armand's purpose. Return to map. Well, he said no. Right, let's have a quick look at my calendar a second. Return to the estate a minute. Right, so he said no. Don't want to see him anyway. Right, Armand's purpose. You finally find your fiancé. He's invited to visit him in his new abode. He claims that he'll be able to explain. Let's visit the location. Let's just kind of push this a little bit. It's a long walk to get to Armand's address on the western edge of Paris, but compared to the events of the last month or so, it's an easy stroll. It's as easy as a stroll around the block. The neighbourhood is a poor one, but filled with the kind of poor who still feel they can improve their station. Persons strut proudly down the streets, wearing 1 or 2 articles of fine clothing over their worn-out ones, seeming almost a parody of the wealthy aristocrats who glide about the Place Royale. To them, these 1 or 2 expensive things are both luxury and a valuable armour against the sneers and derisions of those better off. Time and again, you've seen that the poorer one is, the harder it is to gain someone's trust. In lives like theirs, any scrap of trust could be the difference between survival and complete destitution. Armand must have chosen the dress because he wouldn't stand out here. In his fashion of a fine nobleman's jacket and plain the clothes underneath, he'd look like any of the proud and desperate man trying to strive for something better. You managed to find Armand's new home, 3 stories tall but thin and leaning to one side. It feels like a home. It feels less like a home and more like an old man crippled with age. It reminds you of your own living situation. However, judging from the dust and cracked window panes, he doesn't like have anyone like Camille to take care of things. Well, Armand isn't the only one living here. There's also this Joanna woman. You're still uncertain of her role in all of this. You knock on the door and hear some movement inside before someone opens the door just to crack to see who it is. Spotting you, Armand flings open the door and bounds outside. Oh, ma chérie, it's great to see you again. Please come in. You walk in. He takes your cloak from you You walk in. He takes your cloak from you to hang on a coat rack. The inside of the building is remarkably sparse, and without any decoration, it feels more like an outpost than a home. Please make yourself at home. Joanna is out, so it's just you and me for the moment. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this, Joanna. I want to, but of course, you replies happily, a little relieved. You gain some favour of the Monde. My friend Charles introduced me to her when I first moved to Paris, and while our organisation here has grown rapidly, it's either essentially become her closest confidant. though she'll never take credit for it. She's a real fan of the society I've become part of, he says, gesturing to the walls, which are covered in maps and notes. She's clever, tenacious, and speaks French so well for someone who didn't grow up with the language. You think back to on your brief conversation with her, and you ever detected a hint of a foreign accent when she spoke. Why would she put so much effort into sounding exactly like a native French speaker? I'm glad to see you were acting this way, Armand admits. I was afraid that you'd be jealous of her. After all, if the gossip is true, you've recently been entangled with Louis Antoine de Saint-Just, the young revolution playwright that's so dedicated to their cause, many of his compatriots are afraid of him. He reads your facial expression and holds his hands up innocently. Please don't take me as a jealous bore, Yvette. As I've said before, I don't blame you given the circumstances. You've got no choice, mate. I'm more curious than anything, as I've never met him. What's he really like? He's exactly what you say, a fiery man who demands dedication from around him. Yeah. I'll have to learn a little more about him myself. Oh yes, I have something to show you, he says, leading you up 2 creaky flights of stairs to a window. It immediately feels different from the other ones in the house because you can see the glass here has actually been cleaned and polished. Look at all of that, he says, gesturing to the city. You're at the very top of a small hill, and all of the buildings in this neighbourhood are short, leading you to a remarkably clear view of Paris. I come here to think every day, to think about the responsibility I have to these people. While I'll never see them all, I can see their houses, their workplaces, and all the other places that serve as stages for their lives rather. Few of them will ever have the power to change things, sometimes by making circumstances of their birth. Still, that only makes it more important that I do something right. That's why I joined the society, the Frankish Habsburgian Society in Austria. The House of Habsburg has managed reforms for more efficient governance, religious tolerance, and land reforms, and more. Here in France, we have a battle brewing between 2 disastrous powers. First, there's the aristocracy, who would march our country off a cliff if allowed them to preserve their privileges for another day, and the revolutionaries, who can only agree on what they wish to tear down, but not on what they'll build afterwards. Her Majesty our Queen was born Marie Antonia Josepha Joanna, daughter of the Empress of Austria. Her brother Joseph II is the whole of the Roman Empire. If our 2 countries were brought together under a single rule, France would have the resources to solve its immediate crisis and the political will necessary to do away with the more backwards traditions. Every single day I look out this window, I think of all the people we could save. This is treason, yeah. You're right, it's treason, highest crime imaginable. Murder and theft are also crimes, but the ancestors of every king and queen all over the world gained their dominions through conquest. Still, years later, we celebrate their crimes as victories. We will break the law, yes, but it's in service to our good. That's greater than any one law. Can't you see that? You've lost a little favour with Armand. Armand stares silently out the window, looking out at Paris and its people. You stay with him. Without a word, he grabs you by the wrist and pulls you closer. You rest your head in the crook of his shoulder and realise you've nearly forgotten how it felt. To view watch the sunset and the city together. The lights of the city slowly appear like a second set of stars. Quietly he says, I have to leave for a meeting tonight, more secrets and skullduggery. We have something coming up that will involve convincing a lot of people to our cause, and I think you'd be perfect for it. I'll have someone leave a message with Camille when we get closer to the date. You can stay a little longer if you like. I can trust you to let yourself out. No, but I'm going to steal everything while you're gone. He laughs. Oh, villainous woman, please have mercy. I'm but the poor baron who's fallen on hard times. Two of you spend the next few minutes giggling as you chase each other around the house. You keep trying to steal various books and silverware, while he keeps trying to put the purloined items back in their proper place. Eventually, he catches you trying to walk away with his broken grandfather clock. You both collapse in fits of laughter. Okay, some favour. I was about to leave, but he turns back to you and says, I just wanted to say that I never stopped thinking about you. In fact, I still have all the letters you wrote me locked away in my desk. With a gentle smile, he departs for his meeting, leaving you alone in the house. Why didn't we search the house? You relax, assess the situation for a while before leaving yourself. Alone, you walk down the nighttime streets by yourself, considering all you've just learnt. If I manage to find my house, now I'm accomplice to treason. Yeah, exactly. Your head hangs heavier from millstones being placed around your neck. As you trudge home, you spend a long walk home through the dark, wondering how exactly you manage to rescue yourself from this latest set of dangers. Yeah, let's send it. We really need to be careful on that one. Okay, accept. I really should check the. Oh, yeah. I've done it again. What was I thinking? Right. Guess what we're doing today, folks? I should have. Yeah, it's my own fault. I didn't check. Spend the day at home. Visit the location. You decide to take a day off and spend some time resting and recuperating. After spend the day, take care of yourself. Yeah, fine. Good with all of that exhaustion. With that complete your focus. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. Fine. You look up to sound of criminal knocking on the door from. Good morning, madame. The house rent is due today. That's all my wages. Yep. Merci beaucoup, madame. Well, look after Camille, aren't we? Camille leaves to deliver the money, and with that business concluded, your day may continue. We'll accept that. Move to ball. That is what was I thinking there? Well, clearly wasn't. It's not the first time I've done that, is it really? Right, so and the suburbs. So what we're going to wear. Elizabeth is classed as the crown, so we need to find a dress that she'll like. The provincial dress, rendezvous. After spend the first of the day getting ready, you head out for your rendezvous. You'll need the well-dressed novella. Yep, usual stuff. You return to the idyllic Minuet paradise, which is already packed with enthusiastic patrons clapping in time with the band's music, drinking great gulps of wine and dancing. A few minutes later, Elizabeth arrives. After taking a moment to carefully look around, she approaches you. You look absolutely stunning, she gushes as she looks over you, and you notice her empty hand idly sketching you in the air. You've gained a large amount of favour with Elizabeth. You look away from her. Looking away from you, she surveys your location. Elizabeth looks around at the Guinguet paradise and smiles warmly to you. It's a little rustic, but I like it. It's honest. Nobody's putting on airs here. Get more favour. The TV order a bottle of cheap wine and take a table near the main stage. The violinist playing tonight is fantastic, and you soon find yourselves pounding your fists on the table in time with his music, along with the rest of the patrons. Hours later, you realise it's starting to get late and the two of you depart together. After your rendezvous, Elizabeth offers to walk you home. The streets are empty, so you walk down the centre of the road arm in arm. When you can distantly hear the sound of the city's clamour from other streets, you feel like the only people in the world. She glances at you, opens her mouth to speak, but stops and looks away. She says again, is something wrong? She laughs, well, it isn't, lad. It feels like a great pressure has been. There's nothing wrong. Sorry, this isn't normally a problem for me. I want to paint a new portrait not for a client. I want to make something more personal. In fact, I'd like you to pose nude for me. I'd love to. Fantastic. I'll take a few sittings, but you can come to my studio whenever you like. The first sitting is now available in the price map. I think we'll both find it very inspiring. She flashes you a smile that was intended to be mischievous, but perhaps signals something as the two of you walk and talk together for a little while longer, but your mind is swimming with the possibilities of what you just agreed to. You get home a pace around the room, feeling a combination of nervous excitement and exhaustion. I can't believe this is amazing. Before you go to bed, you practice a few elegant poses in the mirror, imagining what it'd be like to have your beauty immortalised by such an incredible artist. The painting sessions can't come soon enough. That is what I wanted to push, because on the first one we got that, but we got it far too late in the game, so we never really got a chance to discover what benefits could get us, if anything. So I wanted to push that earlier this time, so we've got more game time to actually see what happens as a result of this artistic sitting we're about to take up. Anyway, you will find a letter waiting for you on your bedside table. This wouldn't be unusual, save for the fact that it's sealed in plain uncoloured wax, which hasn't been stamped with a sigil of any sort. Opening the letter, you immediately recognise Armand's handwriting. However, the writing style is remarkably brief, and you find yourself instinctively checking for another 3 or 4 pages of text that don't exist. Share event. Joanna recently finished setting up a meeting place where we can meet with notable individuals who are attending the station. And more importantly, these are persons who are interested in learning more about our goals, the goals of our humble society. It sounds to you like some very influential people are generally intrigued by the Frankish Habsburgian society business. You read on little for them find the address. It looks like these events aren't happening very far from your home. Farnham Tangments is now available for you to visit on the Paris map. Your knowledge, kindness and infamy would be an amazing asset for them. I'd love to see you there. You put down life and check your calendar. You might be able to visit the place today if you like. I ain't going anywhere near that. I'm not going anywhere near that at all. That's just got disaster written all over it. Right, so we've got Revolution. Anything that here we go. Let's go with there. Spending the first half of the day getting ready, you head out for your rendezvous. Unfortunately, you can get usual stuff. Yeah, whatever. This is your first time visiting Le Grand Danseuse de Roy, and the energy is already frenetic. While the stage performers are still getting ready, various jugglers, comedians, and animal handlers are working the aisles, building the energy of the audience. We never got here on run one. La Grande Danseuse de Roy, excuse apologise for my butchering of the French language there, is now available for us in the rendezvous location. Antoine Tumultuous as ever storms over to you shortly before you arrive. So you made it, shall we? You look ravishing, by the way, he says, quietly but firmly before walking ahead of you. He's got a saloon. You get into staggering amount of favour with Antoine. He looks around. You're not really certain if he's aiming the location or looking for threats. Oh, I do. How I love Les Grand Danseurs de Roy, he laughs as a group of dancers takes the stage. Don't let the name fool you. This place is a raw expression of the people's lives. In some ways, theatre is more true than reality itself. You gain more favour. The show is comical, stirring, shocking, and the two of you are on your feet before anyone else to yell for encore. The lights on the stage reflect in Antoine's eyes like a field of stars, and for a moment he seems more dazzling than life itself. A few years later you realise it's starting to get late and the two of you depart together. Looking at Antoine, you feel like today went well. Run one, we never even did anything with this guy at all, so I'm intrigued as to know what we do. So Ludovicia, we did that one to death in run one. Elizabeth, we did it, but we did it far too late. This guy we didn't go anywhere near. Not at all. Right, okay. Let's move on to the next party. Alright, we'll have a take a right. Okay, let's get through these parties first. Then let's go to the part. Then I'll kind of air my thoughts on what's going on. Oh, yep, let's go to the last one again. Minus 10 credibility. That's going to start hitting us. That's going to drop our credibility. Head straight to the party. Gift of wine. Yep, that's helped push our credibility back up. So we've gained the credibility we've lost through being exhausted. Now let the games begin. Let's see what we can pick from. We've got easy again. That's Christoph. That is gossip. We're going to be it, and that is more generic gossip. That's just, and we've got somebody's what? Yep, that's just somebody what challenges. Let's just keep this can keep coming. So let's just see where it takes us. The architect Christoph is locked in a conversation with him about noble privileges he doesn't seem to want to be in. Perhaps you could rescue him. Pick the conversation. You come across the architect Christoph, who's currently talking with some nobleman about taxation. You're not really certain how he was drawn into this particular conversation, but judging on Christoph's barely concealed frustration, you get the feeling it was by no intention of his own. I really must go. Christoph insists, as I was saying earlier, that if the nobility of France have the most money, but functionally pay little to no taxes, it's plain to see how such things could never last. Not eventually, something's going to break. Yep. Nonsense, you'll see soon enough. The nobleman chuckles, intercepting Christoph is about to leave. Such arrangements are the bedrock of a just monarchy. Think how the kingdoms of Europe are balanced in such a way. Non, monsieur. No other kingdom in all of Europe still allows their nobility such a privilege. They haven't for a very long time. Perhaps there's a reason for that. Well, that's because of our unique situation. You foreigners simply don't understand, for example. Monsieur, why don't you leave me alone with Christoph? I'm sure I could convince him. You wish to take care of this for me? How splendid. It's nice to have someone who knows how important my time is. Far traditionalist, he says, suddenly coming to the conclusion that it is he who was the one being inconvenienced all along. We lost some peril. What the result? The old woman disappears to badger someone, and Christoph waits and sees Della gone before turning to you. Normally I'd relish the opportunity to verbally trance someone like that, but you've probably just saved me from myself of it. You say you have my thanks. Get some credibility. You chat with Christoph a bit and laugh behind your hands together as your now departed conversational partner, about your now departed conversational partner before parting ways. Okay, that was a good result, wasn't it? Right, what have we got now? We've got another random conversation. You're approached by a woman. Yeah, let's have it. Yeah. Do I want to go there? Do I want to go down this road? Do I want to pick conversation? With a sigh of relief, you manage to find a breeze from the open doors in the vestibule. It's gotten so hot that you feel like you're going to pass out. You're absolutely certain that you've already started to sweat through your makeup. All the same, you check a mirror to make sure neither of your eyebrows are trying to flee their assigned position. Thankfully, they manage to hold steady. You hear a thrill of laughter. You turn away from your reflection to notice that woman Joanna is approaching. She's holding on to the arm of a particularly powerful gentleman, but you can tell that she's one guiding his steps, not the other way around. In fact, I can't believe you're here, she says, a note of excitement in her voice. I was just telling this fine gentleman here all about you. It's such a shame to hear about how the Viscountess absolutely humiliated you in front of all those people. I can't imagine how awful it was to endure such a vile debasement. Truly unfortunate. The gentleman looks over to you and gasps, I remember hearing of this, such unfortunate business. He says with a pity that it was not exactly the emotion you'd hoped to inspire in people tonight. We lost a decent amount of credibility. Of course, didn't you manage to reveal the perfidious Marcel woman to be a pretender to her title? Who can really trust the opinions of such a creature? I'm not certain that her attacks on your character were as false as her name. I got it back again. Okay. Well, all things considered, you've done quite well for yourself, Joanna says, scrutinising you carefully. In a provincial village like yours, I can see why Armand would have taken quite a liking to you. Then again, I can imagine it's easy to be so ambitious when you have nothing to lose. I'll make sure there's a little... Spoken like a person who's always had resource to work with. What makes I have nothing to lose? That's true. I actually misspoken a little, she says breezily at the thought. You and I are both quite aware of a few things that you certainly couldn't do without. Such a pity you're destined for disappointment in that regard. We've gained some peril. Oh, my glass seems to be running terribly dry, Joanna gasped with an imitation of surprise. I'm unsure, would you mind fetching me a drink? Oh, what? Oh, what? But of course, Madame Girardin, the gentleman replies, seemingly oblivious. Now, with that, he departs, leaving you alone with Joanna. The woman wastes no time in stepping closer to you in her low voice, looking at the great picture. I know I shouldn't be bothered by you. In fact, we should be absolutely zero interested in each other. We're merely two women trying to make our own lives better. However, whether I like it or not, I find my thoughts drawn to you. Thinking about how quickly your star's already risen, think about how achieving the very same advancement took me years. The way she says years, it sounds like a jagged scar being reopened. I simply don't know what to do with you. That doesn't need to be an ending. I don't know either way. What I do know is that I'm going for a walk. I'm going to walk away. This doesn't need to end in open hostility, Johnny. You know that, right? Is Armand's fiancé trying to extend me knowledge about? She says, scrutinising you further. Fine, accept that for now. As long as our circumstances don't interfere with each other's plans, we can at least be civil. Johnny seems to visibly relax, and you can feel a certain tension drain out of the conversation. We've lost a little credibility, and we've lost a large amount of peril. I'll take that. Well, I should go. My date is yet to return with our drink, and he still needs to be convinced that he should be donating money to further a certain political club's benefit activity. He should be donating money to further a certain political club's beneficent activity. Sorry about that. Without a word, Joanna slightly recomposes her features into a very picture of unassuming gentility and leaves. As you find yourself alone again, you realise that you no longer feel too hot. Something about that encounter left you with a chill. Yeah, we cannot trust that woman at all. Come a pebble, can't go wrong with that though. That was a minus 38 power, that was worth it just for that. Some representatives from the third estate have gotten 3 rooms to stay in from a prominent hotelier. However, they've been staying there for a long time. Okay, fair enough. Right, what have we got now? Another party, I think. Yet another one, the church this time. Then we've got some gap to kind of think about what we're going to do. Church. It's going to have to be our provincial dress again. Go to the party. We don't need to do that because it's just a standard. Lost some peril, got some credibility. Yeah. Credibility, got some gossip. Okay, let's give some wine. Gets it back again. I'm liking that. Now let the games begin. What have we got here? So we've got, what have we got? We've got 2 turns as ever. We've got a rather wonderful interaction. Okay, nothing standard conversation. Somebody that wants to test our intentions. We've got somebody's bursting at seams. Like these, you still got these that start to become familiar. And this guy, a drunk guy. So what do we want to do? Let's go with the Whoopee. Much of a muchness, really. Cheap gossip. That's the same. They are all, apart from this one down here, which comes with a credible amount of risk. Let's go this one over here. They're all much of a muchness, really. In your experience, the church parties tend to be quieter than most, and right now this one is no exception. You're unsure if it's guests or the venue, but people simply aren't talking as much as you'd hope. Right as they're about to give up, you notice someone who's looking nearly as bored as you are. She's staring at the guests with an expression you can describe as barely concealed contempt. She notices your approach. Bonjour, she sighs. I assume you're having trouble starting a conversation as well. I swear some people seem to think that the moment they align themselves with the church, they have to exercise themselves of any remaining mirth or wit. I finally have something interesting to talk about, and not a single one of these people do me the courtesy of a smile. It's just so unwelcoming. Perhaps this is a sign for me to keep my tongue to myself. I assume my situation is similar then. You, but we've just met. Then again, if I can't talk to you, who can I speak with? She laughs and begins to let you in on a juicy little rumour she's heard before. You're going to cheat church gossip. With that rumour firmly planted in memory, you stretch conversation a little with basic repartee, try to be welcoming. The two of you talk for some time, and you briefly figure out how quiet and lifeless everything was but a few moments ago. Just as things start to slow down, you slip away to search for other opportunities. So we've got, again, this is a pretty standard party. Let's just pick one and go one-on-one. Let's go this one. They're all standard conversations. Yep. Simply same guess again. Yeah, we just had this one. Yeah. Yeah. We just had this one, haven't we? So, yeah. Basically, we just had the same conversation twice. You do tend to get that in this game. You do tend to like conversational missions do repeat themselves. Right, so what have we got now? Baron Emile Foy. Okay, what day is that on? Yeah, go on, might as well. Wine tasting, credibility's gone up. Let us have a look at what we can do. Right, okay. So we've got working up the nerve. These are just randoms, incidents. We've got abandoned studio. We have got assisting Antoine. We've got direct action. We have foreign entanglements. I don't really want to go anywhere near that. The first sitting. Should we go for the first sitting? Let's do that first. Right. Let's see how long have we got. Let's just return. So we've got nothing for a week. So we've got time. We need to rest up. So let's go for the first sitting. Visit location. A warm breeze caresses your skin as you check the address Elizabeth gave you a few nights ago, confirming you're heading to the right place. Every time you pass a stranger on the street, you expect them to know that you're on your way to a beautiful, fascinating woman's studio so you can paint a nude portrait of you for her private collection. You feel nervous, you feel anticipation. You glance back down at the paper, then at the number on the house you're here. The studio feels like a separate building that's been attached to her house, and while you assume that her husband is at work, you can see the shapes of servants through the window. Just walk in. Not wanting to make much noise, you open the door and step inside the studio. The place is clean, though it's still spattered with dried paint. Shrubs and ivy growing over the windows provide some privacy, but let the sunlight filter in. Elizabeth walks in wearing a paint spattered apron, and she carrying a fresh stretched canvas. While you're still in the middle of your inspection, "Salute, Yvette. Please come in and close the door quietly. I don't want my husband's servants to hear us." Gain some more favour. She leads you to a couch upholstered in satin, and you to undress and pose for me here. I hope you're ready for this. If you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. Keep that in mind. Keeping that in mind, you straight over to the couch and slowly disrobe as you walk. The line of discarded clothes forming a trail behind you until you finally drape your corset over the back of the couch and slowly recline into a comfortable position. That was something else Elizabeth managed to stammer to you. Are you sure you've never done this before? You give no reply other than an appropriately enigmatic smile. After spending a few more moments admiring you, Elizabeth gives you some specifics on how to pose. A wrist here, an ankle there, lying on your back in order to better catch the light on your face. She walks to the easel and using a piece of chalk, she starts to sketch your position on the canvas. You can't see what she's doing, but you can hear her mumble to herself while she works. From the sounds of it, the sketching is going well. A few moments pass and you realise how comfortable you are. Despite your vulnerable position, being naked no longer feels different, like plunging into cold water. The initial shock is really the most notable part. Eventually, like the water, it just feels calm and refreshing. A few hours pass, punctuated by the occasional break to get up and stretch. Elizabeth won't let you look at the canvas on your break, so instead you content yourself with staring out the window at the way the sunlight plays on the leaves with the leaves on the vines. Framing a positioning set. How would you like me to depict you? So we've got gorgeous like the Queen. Depict me as I really am. There's beauty and honesty. Paint me as you see me. That way it can be about both of us. Lewis doesn't reply at first. She stares at you quizzically, as if uncertain that you're serious. Eventually she breaks into a bored smile. I like that very much. Cool. Get some more favour. Just drawing again with a fresh energy, scribbling with a charcoal all over the canvas. When you finally break for the day, Elizabeth takes off a canvas apron, makes it and brings out some small pastries while you get dressed. In the midst of devouring said pastries, you realise that you're surprisingly hungry for someone who spent the day sitting in one place. I spend an hour chatting, looking at your figure sketched on the canvas. You decide to head home. Out in the street, your footsteps feel lighter, the world seems brighter and more in focus. You'll have to return later today in order for Elizabeth to finish this painting. The second sitting is now available to visit in the Paris map. What a day. What a day indeed. 22nd March 1789. Right. I think we're going to have a day at home. We need to... Right. We dance together. That's just a rendezvous. Incidents. Abandoned studio. But let's rest at home first of all. What we don't want to do is get caught out by a party invite and not be able to do anything. Decide to take the day off and spend some time resting and recuperating. Yep, fine. 23rd May 1789. Let's accept that. Why the devil not? Alex on the 28th. This could get complicated. This could get very complicated. I'm just looking at it just there. Okay. Antoine on the 26th. Oh my goodness me. It's just going to get a whole bit complicated. It really is. Look at that. That's bonkers. I'm glad I took that rest there. So we go Elizabeth first, then we've got Antoine, then we've got a break, then we've got Alex. Right. Today is, I'm thinking to myself, our wardrobe is looking a little bit, Yeah, we'll lose that. We need to, novelty value's wearing off on that. That's fine. But this one's got good around. I'm sorry, so we've got. Yeah, we need one that's good for the crown of the church. So let's just go back to the calendar. What I'm thinking is this. So let's tackle that one today, and then tomorrow or the next step. Oh yeah, so we'll tackle that one today, and then we will go to the dressmaker tomorrow. Let's hit this one today. Not sure what the point of it is. Compare unit selling. Okay, this is the. I'm not sure this is still relevant considering we've actually found him. It's visit location anyway. Tugging on the edges of your hood to make sure your face is hidden from view. You glance down again at the hastily scribbled address Pierre gave you in his office. Addition to your regular travelling clothes, you have a small bag hanging off your shoulder with a portable lantern and a flint. You wait for sunset before heading out. It feels like the sort of things are better done under the cover of darkness. However, everything still feels too bright. Every hanging light and every candle-lit window feels like an eye staring down at you. Winding your way through the narrow streets, you can't help but think about how out of this place would have been for Armand. Yet Pierre said he was a regular visitor. Despite yourself, you find your heart beating faster and faster as you get closer to the abandoned studio. Rounding a corner, you find yourself on an empty street looking across the road at the studio. The windows of this small two-story building have been boarded up, and there's a charcoal hole in the roof. A sign nailed on the door reads, "Closed on the orders of the king." Glance around, you don't see anyone at all. As if the king's noticed someone closed the entire street. Rather than standing around in the middle of the dark street, you hike up your skirts and hurry across the road to the studio. You immediately notice the door's been nailed shut. See if there's a way through the hole in the roof. Leaning back and craning up to the roof, you see there's a big hole enough for you to enter the building through. You don't have a ladder or anywhere to get up there. For a moment you consider trying to enter the building next door so you can drop down to the roof, but it's better to do this as quickly as possible. Putting down your unlit lantern, you start checking the boards and windows to see if any of them are loose. On the third one, you finally set on the board. You find one set of boards gives way easily gives way. It's like it's been pulled out before someone else has been here. Gingerly, you take down each one of the boards, leaving them in a neat pile by the window to put back later. Secrets are easier to uncover when nobody knows that you're looking at all. You carefully ease yourself through the window, make sure none of your clothes get caught in the exposed nails. Once inside, you close your eyes for a moment so you'll adjust the darkness faster. Inside the studio is even darker than you would have guessed. Between the boards on the windows and the lack of lighting on the surrounding streets, it's nearly impossible to pick out any detail smaller than the walls and the doors. You carefully use a flint stone in the base of your lantern to light it, then muffle most of the lights with the hem of your cloak. Now that you have little more light, you can see that most of the furniture inside is broken, and enough things have been make you wonder how much a Gouette Royale sees during the raid. It is also only a matter of time before someone spots you and comes to investigate. Your time is limited. What do you plan searching for clues? Examine upstairs. The stairs creak underneath your feet as you make your way to the second floor. The long table and scattered cutlery suggest that this used to be a dining area. A small fireplace occupies one side of the room with a wide swathe of ash spilling out of the fireplace and onto the floor. Above the fireplace itself, a painting hangs on the mantel. Investigate the painting hanging above the mantel. Stepping over the ash in front of the fireplace, you gingerly take the painting off its hook and examine it closely. It's not as carefully detailed as some of the others in the building, but there's certain joyful energy to it. Whoever painted this generally enjoys making it. It's a dining scene done in a reflected perspective intended to make the actual room feel larger than it really was. It's all the men and women in the picture are laughing, glasses clinking, looking merry, even Armand. Armand's smiling face is looking back at you from the picture, a glass raised in mid-toast and a quill in his free hand. On one side of him is a man you remember from your last night together with Armand. The man is named Isaac. On the other side of him is a young woman who you've never seen before. Her hand is on his shoulder. You turn the painting back and forth looking for more detail until you hear something metallic shift. Flipping the paint over, you find a note tucked into the frame and the back of the painting along with a key. You didn't recognise the handwriting, but you decide against taking You decide against taking time to read the note now. While it's illegally trespassing in a condemned building, you carefully fold the note in the key and secrete it in your stays. You'll be able to investigate it later. Stranger is now available for you to investigate in the Paris map. You can't help but grin with satisfaction. This is the lead you were looking for. Quickly and quietly, you skulk out into the window. You enter the building peering through the window. It seems like the coast is clear for now. You leave yourself out of the window and onto the street. Outside, you facetiously put the boards back where you found them on the window. You just pick up at the sound of the approaching footsteps. You spot the reflection of lantern light off the nearby buildings. The Great Wall are on their way. As long as you keep moving, you should be gone before they arrive. That, if you look about, you disappear into the dark alley you initially approached from the studio from. With the precious lead in your possession, the authorities none the wiser, you vanish into the night. I did that on run 1, and it did not go that well. Not as well as that, anyway. You look up to see Camille, knocking on your door phone. Good morning, madame. House is rent due today. Of course we're going to pay you. Merci beaucoup. Yep. Right. Okay. Right. So where are we? Another party. What date? Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, we're gonna have to be careful on that. I'm kind of filling it up a little bit. Okay. So we've got. Do we want to go for the second sitting? Yeah, we're there today. So let's go for the second sitting. Let's go for that. Let's go for our second sitting. We've now got Stranger and Stranger. You spend the night at home investigating the mysterious note and key recovered by the student. Hopefully, the risk you took in the break-in were worth it. Return to the map. We'll do what? So we'll do the second sitting. Let's go back. So we'll do our second sit-in there. We'll do that Stranger there. Yeah, and then we're going to conquer these 3 parties. Okay, we'll have to rest there to get ready for that. But anyway, we'll do that later. Let's go for our second sitting. I want to, like I said, I want to push this a lot more. I was going to get the dress shop, but we'll do this first. It's a lot more enjoyable. Another warm, sunny day as you walk to Elizabeth's studio. Fresh breeze off the River Seine prevents the heat from becoming overwhelming. Having been to her studio before you arrive without any trouble, just walk in. Remember Elizabeth's need for discretion. You simply walk inside the studio. Exactly remember it through your portrait's canvas has been covered with a cloth. Enter the room. A startled Elizabeth practically jumps when she sees you. Mon Dieu. I'm sorry I didn't hear you come in. She flattered you with a smile. So I'm glad you took my request seriously. More favour? All right. I have everything. I already have everything I need set up. So let's begin, shall we? I appreciate my help getting ready. If you have the time, go on then. Well, I thought you never asked Elizabeth for us with a sly smile. She helps you out of your dress and slowly undresses your stays, eyes lingering on you all the while. You're pretty sure it took longer to dress with her help than it would have taken to do it by yourself, but this isn't the point. This wasn't the point, really, was it? No, it certainly wasn't. Oh dear, this time she starts with her paints filling in the colours that define the scene. While you can't see what she's doing, she tells you about the process. Getting the balance of colours is important to make a scene feel authentic, even to an untrained eye. Subtle details like colour and of the light reflected off a wall can make all the difference in the world. An hour in the sitting position, she laughs. I like how easy it is to talk to you, much easier than trying to reach out to new patrons. Half the critics in the city already paint me as a conniving narcissist, and I'd hate to prove any of them right. So I sit around and wait for work to come to me. Even though I know it's unwise, artists have to keep reaching out for clients, or they'll never get anything, she sighs. Yet I'm so out of practice. What if I make a fool of myself? At this point, I don't even know who would appreciate my work. Have you considered the church? They value your more natural style. Most of their commissioned artists are men, so you'll be sure to stand out. You're an artist trying to make a living. The bourgeoisie always have money go to them. That feels sensible, she admits, already considering the idea. Well, I need about nice clients, and I'd rather have ones who can pay well rather than ones that can't. Thanks, Yvette. I'll send that letter to some of my business leaders in Paris tomorrow. You have gained a little favour with Elizabeth, and the bourgeoisie have moved towards the crown. Ew. The conversation trails off. You spend the next hour simply posing and watching Elizabeth paint. She seems more relaxed if a weight has been lifted from her mind. All right, my hands are starting to cramp up, so I think we're done for the day. Do you want to see what I've done so far? Actually, I'd rather be surprised by the final product. Oh, really? Very interesting. Like last time, Elizabeth fetches with some pastries and tea. You get the feeling that she does this with all of her clients, but it's nice to have all the same. You chat and joke for a while, which is a lot easier to do now you don't have to hold perfectly still. With things winding down, you decide to it's time to head home. You wave goodbye to Elizabeth and take your leave. You'll have to do one last time so Elizabeth can finish her portrait. The final sitting is now available. Until then, you'd like to rest. Okay. Party time. No, it's not party. No, it's not party. We're back with Elizabeth again. Right, so let me think. So we've got exhausting is fine. So I'm thinking final sitting there. So we go rendezvous, final sitting, rendezvous, dress shop, rest, party. That doesn't sound like a plan. So we are with Elizabeth again. So let's hit the old crown. We got a better crown outfit? No, we haven't. We do need to kind of get a new dress. Rendezvous. After spend the first half of the day getting ready, you head out for your rendezvous. Yep, fine. It's your first time visiting the peaceful Jardin des Plantes. Couple strolling the path share both furtive glances and nods of respect as they put forth their best efforts to see and be seen. We can now go to the Jardin des Plantes. Is now available at the rendezvous location. A few minutes later, Elizabeth arrives, taking moments to carefully look around as she approaches you. You look absolutely stunning. She gushes as she looks at you over. You notice her empty hand idly sketching you in the air. You gain quite a bit of favour with Elizabeth. Look how she surveys your location. Elizabeth looks on Jardine, plants and smiles over. It's absolutely lovely. I could use a little relaxation. You gain some favour with Elizabeth. The two of you stroll together, walking as close as laws of society will allow. Without suspicion, occasionally you stop to furtively point and giggle together at particular couples. Some of them are just silly and foolish, but others will make for great inspiration for work later. A few years later, you realise it's starting to get late and the two of you depart together. After your day together, Elizabeth decides to walk home. You sense that she feels much more comfortable with you, and I'm not surprised. Sometimes you wonder whether these events, these little kind of rendezvous, are tied into the portrait story we're going through at the moment. You sense the tension in the air, and she feels like she has something on her mind. The artist glances at you. Did I ever tell you what it was like to paint the Queen? I know she loved your work. Were you nervous? My heart nearly leapt out of my chest when I got the invitation. I had a good reputation. I painted nobility before, even a few relatives of the Queen, but those were formal paintings. I would chat with them a little and try to capture the essence of someone I didn't know. Marie was something else entirely. Instead, I met Marie and her friends at Le Petit Trianon, and joined them at their leisure. I saw them as themselves, not as masks they wore at court. By then, Marie had been rejected enough times to be sick of politics and intrigue, so instead she spent her efforts making a simple world of leisure in that chateau, like a little island isolated from the rest of France. We became friends of sorts. Elizabeth turns her eyes away from you into the ground. Later on, my career stalled. The members of the Academy were blocking my membership. I ran out of options, so I asked the Queen for a favour. Marie never questioned my motives. She didn't even think about it. She just did it. Suddenly, I was a member. Elizabeth says with a confused shrug. She pauses for a moment. It's not as if she's not sure if she should continue. So actually, you don't want to talk about it. She gives you a weak smile before trying to be strong. Thanks for it. If I should say the whole thing, I think this is good. I think this is good for me. Getting more favour. I'll remember the 1783 salon for the rest of my life. I made 2 paintings. Peace Bringing Back Abundance was there to show, and I could do more than portraits. My real focus was Marie and Chemise. I poured my heart into that painting. It was relaxed, calm and kind. It was Marie as I knew. It was the Marie I wanted to show the world. They hated it. I was surrounded by all these men, these master artists whose work I adored. I had to listen to them tear it to pieces. That my portrait was scandalous, was insulting. This was unbecoming of the Queen. I heard it over and over again. The Queen made a mistake. Her eyes glistened wet. They took it down on the first day of the show. I thought my career was over. A dew of tears rolled down her cheeks, but it wasn't mine for me. It only brought me more clients, and common people loved it. The movie was more damaged by scandal than I was. A few years later, I painted another painting of her, something more with their children. I made what the Academy wanted to see. More austere, more appropriate, something befitting the mother of the King's children. Since then, Marie and I have lost touch. I feel like I betrayed her. This isn't your fault. The boards couldn't tolerate women and their special club. The Queen never turned against you. Reach out for again as a friend. She says, wipes tears away from her face. Maybe you're right. It wasn't the Academy that hated my paintings, not me. I poured my heart into something for a friend, and she loved it. That's what matters. Thank you. I haven't been focusing on what really matters. You've gained a little for Elizabeth. Crown has gained some power. You arrive at home and Camille greets the best of you with the usual to her, bonjour, mesdames. Who is this delight, Yvette? Elizabeth asked with a giggle. Just a maid of all works, madame. Can I get either of you anything? Nothing for now, Elizabeth. Thank you. This is a great night. A questions draws only silence, followed by raucous laughter. You gain a little favour with Elizabeth. Yvette, I didn't take you for the jealous type. Elizabeth replies with a wink. You're not certain, but you're pretty sure you saw Camille blush for a moment when she said that. After a few minutes of you through trading jokes and raised eyebrows, all winds down enough for you to excuse yourself. With your goodbye said, you head upstairs and prepare yourself for bed. It's a good night, and it feels like you managed to push the events into a very helpful direction. Okay. Let's have a quick look at the state of play with power. Where are we? Calendar, not this journal, isn't it? Journal. Okay. That's going well, quite well. Right, journal. So the crown's got... Oh, look at that. That's interesting. So the crown is still the major power. Faction power. Look, the bourgeoisie have got a faction power of 2, but they're still heavily aligned to the revolution. Ooh. However, they're now more powerful than the revolution, that and the church and the military. That's fascinating. Ooh. Gossip. We're going to gossip. We can flog us. We can sell. We've got a little bit. Okay. Calendar. What we got now? We've got. Well, tell you what we've got now. We have got the end of this video. It's 52. We've gone about 50 minutes. This is going to take another 5 minutes. So, next episode. When we come back, let's go. We can't do the calendar. We'll go to this party. We'll do the final sit-in because I want to push that. Like I said, I want to push that along. Let's see where that goes. I mean, we could probably guess, but let's kind of just play it through, get this done, and then I want to go back to those monster ones and see what we can push through them. Okay, but anyway, that's all for the next one. Let me know if you've played it. I'd love to know what kind of events you guys have seen and what you guys have done. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and of course, as ever, I shall see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.